Thank you. I'm so incredibly proud to have been asked to do this. I can't tell you. I've read the book many times when I was younger, and as I got older I reread it and reread it. It's one of those books you should read every few years, rather like All Quiet on the Western Front or If This Is a Man by Primo Levi. And I suppose, like everybody, whenever I think about Anne Frank, I get very conflicting emotions because she represents so much of human tragedy as well as human happiness. And so also I think that when we think about the Holocaust, we all have that cicatrice in our minds, that scar. And so I wore two things. I wore black because of that, but I also wore pink in order to indicate the joys of girlhood. And if you don't mind, today I will dwell a little in the pink. I think one of the things that I love about Anne Frank most, and I think it's also forgotten because what she represents is so weighty, is how very funny she was. What a very witty girl she was. I'm convinced that her confinement made her even more alive and truthful and humorous and humane in her writing, more intense than she would have been had she not been confined. But there's two little bits I wanted to read you because they just make me laugh. She's got terrible flu when she was writing this. It's 22nd of September 1943. And she says, the worst part was when Mr. Dussel decided to play doctor and lay his pomaded head on my bare chest to listen to the sounds. Not only did his hair tickle, but I was embarrassed. Even though he went to school 30 years ago and does have some kind of medical degree, why should he lay his head on my heart? After all, he's not my boyfriend. For that matter, he wouldn't be able to tell a healthy, sound heart from an unhealthy one. He'd have to have his ears cleaned first because he's becoming alarmingly hard of hearing. Anyway, the weather's drizzly and overcast, the stove stinks and the food lies heavily on our stomachs, producing a variety of rumbles. Very funny girl. I've always loved her sensitive and unprudish attitude to sex as well. And in fact, I think the book is a lexicon on how to grow up and how to be human. Several journalists this morning knew that I was coming to do this and said, but why you? And I said, well, I don't know. Actually, I suppose it's because I happen to be here. But it may be something deeper than that. It may be to do with the fact that, as you all probably know, Anne was a huge film buff. She knew about all films, all the stories, all the stars, all the reviews. She knew them all, even within her confinement. And I think that she'd quite like an actress to have done this. But anyway, listen to this, because this is also very revealing. Whenever I come sailing in with a new hairstyle, I can read the disapproval on their faces, and I can be sure someone will ask which film star I'm trying to imitate. My reply, that it's my own invention, is greeted with scepticism. As for the hairdo, it doesn't hold its set for more than half an hour. Ain't that the truth? By that time, I'm so sick and tired of their remarks that I race to the bathroom and restore my hair to its normal mass of curls. She knew the pitfalls. I don't think she would have been an actress. I think if she'd lived, she would have written books. She would have helped others. She would have used her extraordinary intelligence to organise our thoughts about the world. I think she would have loved generously and without prejudice. I think she would have had great courage. I think she would have spoken up for the dispossessed. And I think that she would have tried to storm the invisible barriers that separate human beings and keep us in such conflict. So what I say now is the only thing we have to remember is all her would-haves are our real possibilities. All her would-haves are our opportunities. And the book's a flame, a torch. We can light our own candles and take them and illuminate our hearts with the incandescence of her spirit. So I'm very happy to be sticking the first leaf on the tree, although I have to confess to you now that I'm absolutely useless with computers. you want up on the screen, is it?
Actrice Emma Thompson was deze week in ons land voor de voorpremière van haar nieuwe film Nanny McPhee, waar ze de hoofdrol van speelt en waarvan ze het scenario heeft geschreven. En ze was ook in Amsterdam om een website te openen van de Anne Frank Stichting. Op die site is de kastanjeboom waar Anne Frank op uitkeek virtueel nagemaakt. Bezoekers kunnen een blaadje in de boom achterlaten en daarmee hun verbondenheid met Anne en alles waar ze voor staat benadrukken. Emma Thompson dacht dat Anne Frank het wel leuk zou hebben gevonden dat een filmster haar site zou openen.
From what you know about what she says in the books about her fascination with film and with Hollywood,
She wanted to be an actress.
I don't know whether she did want to be an actress. I mean, I'm sure it was one of the things that she considered, and I think that she's very sort of funny about the fact that her family, clearly thought she was a bit of a drama queen, and she was very dramatic, and she has tended to all sorts of outbursts, which of course will have been to do with her confinement, but were also to do with the fact that she had an incredibly sort of explosive personality.
What do you think of the website?
I think it's the most fantastic idea. I really do. And I think to take something living and make it live again in a virtual reality is just what we need computers to do for us, actually. So it's a wonderful example of a very engaged website.
And the director of the Anne Frank house, he gave you...
He gave me a cutting from the tree itself, so that I will
Stekkie in eentje.
Yeah, I will be able to plant that and have her tree growing there.
What do you think of that?
I really found it very difficult not to cry at that moment, really, because it's just such a moving thing anyway to be asked to do, but to be given a piece of her, something that she looked at every day and something that represented nature, freedom, everything that was good and pure about life is very moving experience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
En dat was actrice Emma Thompson, die dus haar eigen Anne Frank boom gaat planten. Haar film Nanny McPhee gaat komende week in première. En Thompson speelt erin een nanny met toverkracht.